Hi, Helen, and very nice to meet you, Barbara. My name is Jesse. I just got your email, Helen, and how exciting to be teaching online. And assuming that Vancouver is UBC, and knowing that UBC uses Canvas, I thought I would show you my Canvas online classes that I use for Shasta College in California. So that might be the most useful right now. If you are using Moodle or whatever, let me know, and I have some other little things that would use for Moodle that might not use for Canvas, and vice versa. They're both similar platforms, but can be very different at the same time. This video, I'm going to move pretty fast, but so if it's useful, you can pause it. But I just thought I would highlight a few things that I wish I knew when I started teaching online a few years ago when I moved to England. And of course, being 8 hours ahead, I don't do anything in real time. Everything is very much assuming that they're doing it on their own time. And that tends to work really well for online anyway, because students, especially now, there's a lot of other family things that come up and work-related things and expectations during the day. So students tend to do it on their own time at weird hours. So knowing that this is set up for that. The software, this is a free software. It's actually designed for Macs. I'm using a Windows right now. It seems to be working okay, but it might have an error that comes up here. We'll see. It works. I know it works well for Mac. So if you have a MacBook or using a Mac, it's great. What I recommend is making the screen a bit bigger, even bigger than this, so that way you can edit the video with some editing software. There's a lot of good free ones. If you have a Mac, the one that comes with is great. And you can then crop it to take out the advertising of the free software, so that way it looks more professional. And then from there, what I normally do is to have a YouTube channel, post it on YouTube. Even if you post it, you can make it private, and then you can post it onto your page. Okay, so videos. All the feedback I get from students say that any of the videos are the most useful. They're really happy, especially with history, to get videos. Especially, I try to use my Humanities Through Film class. I do a lot of visuals. I go to the archives here. I do a lot of stuff in the archives to show them things, and that tends to really make it a lot more, more personal and connecting. So let's go to a class here. I'm going to show you my World Civ class I'm doing right now. This is one of my classes I'm teaching online. The first page you tend to go to is the syllabus page, and this works for any class. What I would say, there's all the studies show that the first 10 minutes the student logs on to a class is the most useful, where students are either going to make or break the whole class experience. So if you go onto here and it's just nothing but text, and it's text, writing, that's going to throw them, oh, there we go. That's going to throw them right off completely. So, I would say what I would recommend is if they log in, the first thing is a video. And this one I have a little, I'll send you this. It's very silly. It's a video I made because world history to me is so epic and it gets people into epic movies. I made this like a trailer for a movie for the class. But you could do in other classes. I just have a thing that's me welcoming them to the class, explaining about what the class is about. Basically like this, saying what the syllabus would be. What are they expecting? Make sure they're in the right class. So that's useful. I have a textbook link right here. I'll have the writing thing that I took off my actual physical syllabus. Here's a printout of the syllabus, the contract with the students. So all the information's there, and I get into everything about plagiarism, all that stuff. Everything is in the syllabus. I even sometimes have a quiz that they have to do, is just to show that they read the syllabus. So, there's all those tricks. And then a video about me welcoming students to the online class, where I'm at in England and so forth. So this is a useful first page to land on because it's very, very basic, just the basic intro things. Other things on here when they log in is they'll have the to-do list, so they can click right there if they need to go to an assignment, or at the very bottom, it has the course summary with all the assignments, and they can again click there. So there's lots of ways, even on this page, to go directly to assignments. There's lots of things that you as an instructor can utilize and use. This is very overwhelming when you start, especially, and that can be very overwhelming for students too. So what I try to do is keep it really simple for students. So you can move these around. I tend to have students to be able to go to the announcements page on here, I'll have reminders of certain due dates, information. If a student shares a resource, I'll post it. If there's questions that come up that'll be good for everybody, I could post it right there. So I have students make sure to check that regularly. It also emails them, so it goes to, whatever I post on this page goes directly to them in an email. So that helps to remind them that, hey, they have an online class. Hey, they have stuff due coming up. Hey, keep thinking about history, even though we're not physically going to a class. That helps keep things connected. What I tend to do for everything else is have it all be able to go on the modules page. So if they just click on the modules page, they will rock the class, because I have it by week. If they go down the list of the stuff on the module, and this is not to be confused with how we use the word module in the UK. This is like the weekly assignment, the weekly modules within the class. So I'll have it broken up. You can have it broken up different ways. I tend to find it's easiest to have it broken up per week. As you can see here, this is a very accelerated 8-week class, normally a 19-week class that's condensed to 8 weeks. And so what's nice is you can see where it's green. That means it's live, and everything in that module is active, so the students can go on there. If you scroll down, you'll see that there's stuff here that we are on week 6 in this class, so next week is not live, so they can't see that stuff. They can only see what's live, and that's helpful because then they're not overwhelmed. They go onto the modules page, all they see is the stuff right there that they need to focus on. They don't have to look ahead. They don't have to be overwhelmed. They can just go down the list. You can, with each assignment, say create a progression assignment to it. So like if they do this video, then the next thing appears and so forth. I like to tend to have the whole thing there, because I do tell students to go to the discussions first, look at the questions, the prompts, and then they can kind of keep that in mind as they go through the reading and the lectures. What I tend to do, we'll go to a second week that shows this a bit more, is have a highlights video. So this is a great way to just have a 2-minute video, explain what's to be expected for the week. This is, in our terms, would be like the SLOs, but I don't tell them that, of what they're expected, what's going on that week. And also kind of recapping the week before. So I'll do that first. Then have the readings there so they can get right into the readings. I'll have links to certain assignments. I'll have prompt questions from certain chapters. I might have a video in there. So that's all useful so they can get to the reading in one place. And then lectures. So I'll make lectures. I used to, when I first started, my lectures were the full 50 minutes. No one's watching a 50-minute lecture. So keeping it under 10 minutes, lots of visuals. Keeping it moving is really useful. I work for the World History Project, which is an OER, an online education resource that's free. They have the rights and ownerships for the crash course history things. They're annoying, to be honest with you. I don't know if you've seen them. You probably have, but some of them are useful, and I've written some of this activities that go with it. So I use some of those activities that go just as a different tool for them to learn. So if students learn the best from the reading, I have that. If they're visual and auditory, there's lectures. So they have different ways of getting to the material. And then I try to keep the assignments the same day's due dates. So I always have an assignment due on a Friday and a Monday. The Friday is expecting that they get through all the readings and all the lectures throughout the week. And then Friday, they turn in a discussion that's based on that material and the sources and so forth. And then they have a bigger project that they work on the weekend that's more creative, that's bringing things together and able to think about it. For this one, it's comparing, using a comparative discussion, and bringing stuff, honing all the information together for another discussion due Monday. Discussions are really useful because I put them into small groups. So, this is a class that has over 70 students, so I have them roughly in groups of 10 to 15, and that's helpful because then they get to know that small group for the whole class. They don't have to deal with all 75 students and try to read all their stuff. So I do have it very clear that in the rubric that they get points for their discussion, but they also get points for commenting and creating a discussion with others. So seeing what other people's are writing and making sure that's interactive in the discussion post. You don't have to actually go on here. When you go to the grades, you'll go to the assignments and you can see what they're writing for their post and also their comments, and you can grade accordingly and you can comment right there. I won't go to grades because you'll see all the names and all that stuff. But the discussions are, I think, very useful, and they tend to be, that's where a lot of the writing comes in. The questions are pretty inclusive, so I have them to write quite a bit on using the certain keywords and information and bringing in the sources and all that stuff. And then the other students in their group get to see how they're tackling it, so they get that sort of interactive learning component through the discussion. So I tend to put a lot of bulk into that. To reward the reading, I've created reading quizzes, and that tends to be useful. And then so with all that, so I'll have an introductory video at the beginning. I'll have some lectures and the readings, discussions, and then I'll have a concluding video just to sort of finish up and to highlight some main things of that week. And then we move into the next week. I might have an exam prep, so I have videos that are just sort of, these are very easy. There's sites that help you do this, but this is the animation video of the keywords and focus questions that they can get through, just to make sure that they have those before they move on to the next module. So that's an overall best thing I'd say is keeping the syllabus page interactive and fun when they log in, and just somewhat more visual than just text. And then having students really going straight to module page so that they can organize and just see, okay, what do I need to do, and go down the list and not be overwhelmed by everything else. Now, as you get going, you'll be able to bring in Zoom. So Zoom's integrated into Canvas. So I have Zoom meetings. They're not that, I have them available, but students don't jump on that because, again, they tend to work on their own time and they're okay with that. They know they can email me and I get back to them quickly. And that's really the bulk of it. And everything else kind of falls into play. Any other visuals, any other tools, there's tons of things out there that you can play around with. There's lots of sites that help you can bring into this module page. So, everything you can have linked through here once you create the pages, and it makes it a lot more fun that way. So I hope that kind of helps just to get started, at least, in seeing how this can be. I absolutely, and Helen knows this, I love teaching online. At first, I thought it was going to be horribly impersonal and sort of just kind of forced in a way. But what I have found is it's incredibly more personal. So students who email you, they tend to really get into their concerns and fears and what they're liking and what they're not liking. And you're having some good conversation, where if you had a lecture hall of 70 students, you wouldn't be able to have that one-on-one with as many people as you tend to be able to do here. And that I really enjoy, and it allows for some great conversation. I'm always impressed with the quality of work. Of course, a lot of students too, of course, let you down. You deal with a lot of plagiarism and things like that, which is because they're not there. There's not that element of kind of accountability sometimes. But so really being aware of that and working with students who are overwhelmed, especially right now. There's lots of students, at least mine right now online, who have family members and dealing with COVID. And I have a lot of Native American students, and as you know, that's getting hit really hard with COVID. So yeah, it's tough. But again, I do think of this, and I tell this in my videos, that it is a wonderful way to create a community. So if students are feeling disenfranchised, if they don't have someone to talk to, you can create a space. You can create a special forum for interaction if they're dealing with COVID or if they're dealing with anything else, and you can create this as a real learning environment and a real community. And in that, I think it's quite exciting. So we'll end it with that. I hope some of that might be useful. Feel free to email me if you want to go explore a bit more of some of these things. Or, and again, there's some other stuff, but this is just kind of one-on-one, and I hope that might be of use for you. All right, good luck. Take care.